What's going on, YouTube? Thanks for tuning in with another video. For those of you who are already subscribed, you might have an idea of what this video is if the title doesn't already give it away. We're going to be doing kind of a resume of how much this whole build cost entirely, and not entirely what I paid for, but what everything would retail value for. If you haven't already seen my other videos or you aren't familiar with the car, this is my 97 Acura Integra. Everything done in-house, except for machining work, obviously. It is a Garrett GT35 Turbo onto a CSS sleeved, or stock sleeve setup with 81.5mm Weissco pistons with Crower billet steel rods, and then supporting amenities like the Skunk 2 manifold with spacer, tile wastegate, or actually Turbo Smart wastegate, tile blow-off valve, a few other goodies right now on R888s for street tires, and then full slicks over there. I don't have anything crazy. Everything that you can have on this car is actually off of the shelf, and with a little bit of time and dedication, you can do something just like this, if not better. So without further ado, we are going to dive right into it. I'm going to set up the camera and set it down and start talking a little bit about the build. I've been reflecting this video for quite a bit, and I've been buying stuff ever since I started thinking about making it. And so I might have to add some stuff that I haven't written down, but for the most part I wrote down everything that I have, well, for the most part everything that I have on this car itself with the prices and adding up the prices. Alright, now that we're all settled in, maybe you might have noticed the SB tuning onto the shirt. I also have one of the logos in the back. I'm not going to show too much right now, but if you go to thesbtuning.com, we are actually just releasing some merchandise, starting with stickers, and the shirts are still under development, so come back very soon and we'll have a full lineup. A little bit about the car. I've owned this shell for about 3.5 years, I want to say, and I've been putting together the motor, or putting together parts for the motor and parts for the build for about 4 years, and I'm 21 years old right now, so ever since one of my first cars, my second or third was an Acura Integra, and I've had like 6 after that. But I've always had a fascination for Hondas, Acuras, Integras primarily, and B-Series mainly. So I've been accumulating parts here and there. So it hasn't been a total purchase from the beginning. A lot of people think that you can throw a car together just from the get-go, and a lot of people do. It just takes a lot more money, obviously. So this has kind of been a lengthy process. Let me bring it up to the engine build page that I have in here. So this car has been through a few setups, not in a total overhaul, but for example, I had one set of rods that I changed. Now I have a different type. The block used to be a regular stock sleeve, no CSS. Now it is a CSS block. The manifold has gone through a little bit of a change, so the setups have a little bit changed over the years. So I'm just going to tell you what is on it right now. So, I have written down, please don't mind me, I'm reading everything off. Obviously, I can't remember every single part and the price that everything goes for, so I have it all written down with prices. And the main price that I give for each component is something that I found online, going off of, for example, Real Street Performance's website. They have a lot of retail prices, as well as eBay, with real parts. Obviously, I'm not giving fake parts. Nothing on here is fake. And a few other websites that I can't remember off the top of my head, kind of found an average for every single part of what people are charging out there. So starting from the core of the car, I have a CSS block. It's a B18B1, which is a non-VTEC block that comes in most Acuras, Integras. So including machining of the block, like the surface, and also crankshaft polishing and simple stuff like that. The block itself, no rotating assembly included, was about $700. So that's the CSS process, machining, and shipping, and all that good stuff. Then for pistons, the Weissco pistons that I have right now, they retail for $507. I have Crower billet rods at $257 a rod, which is I found online, a total of $1,030 for the set of 4 rods. I paid a lot less than that, luckily through some great people that I've met online, and then finding parts that have been brand new in box and never used, or people parting out builds is always a good way to find cheaper stuff. I have ARP head studs. I actually just upgraded from the off-the-shelf one to the L19 that Speed Factory uses. Those go for, I want to say, $300. I got them for a pretty good deal. But the regular ARP head studs are $145. Then the oil pump, I have a genuine original Honda oil pump. People call it the Type R, although I think after OBD2 which is 96 and newer oil pumps. They're all the same. So if you have the part number for a newer oil pump from Honda, it's the same as a Type R or LS or GSR, whatever you want to call it. It's about 150. Timing belt, which is the Gates timing belt, and water pump tensioner, like the Koyo original stuff. I have about 170 into that. Then I have an aftermarket K-Tune tensioner, which is right up there. It goes on the front of the timing belt, and it accommodates for if you have a Frankenstein block and head setup and both have been shaved. The timing belt is going to have a little bit of extra slack, so it helps you degree the motor in and not have to worry about that extra slack. That was 120. King's bearings, I actually just switched over to ACL with this current block. But King's bearings and ACL will go for about the same pricing. It's kind of up to your preference. I know a lot of people prefer ACL versus the Kings. So if you want to go with that, that's exactly what I'm running right now, the ACL, and they work perfect. That's $104. Then gaskets for the valve cover and oil pan, because I have the special Fel-Pro gasket that has the metal all the way around on the bottom of the oil pan. That's about $60. Then SuperTech with the valve cover and the grommets and everything. Then SuperTech valve springs and retainers, about $300 into that. Pro 1 cams, $650 off the shelf. Skunk 2 Lost Motion assemblies are $100. Then the piston rings came with the pistons, so I'm not going to count that price. But if you buy piston rings off the shelf from Weisico, they're about $100. Currently I have a Phantom Grip LSD in my GSR transmission. I paid, I think, $500 for the whole setup in there. And I actually have some transmission stuff on the way right now that should be going into the transmission later this month, which is a real LSD, long first gear, cuff, that kind of stuff. But I'll do a video explaining that soon, as well as the installation and everything. Skunk 2 manifold, $400. Then the Skunk 2 throttle body, $250. Skunk 2 manifold spacer, $100. VTEC conversion, which is the Golden Eagle head gasket, as well as the sandwich plate and the line, $200. And then the ATI dampener that I have on it right now is the race version, single pulley just for the alternator, $348. I think it was a total of $5,486. I might have done the math before one or two of the items, so right around $6,000 if you just want to round up for the long block and the transmission. Their turbo kit, like I mentioned earlier, it's a Garrett GT35. It's a genuine Garrett. Some people sell them for more expensive. A lot of people sell them for, I think, $1,200, but an average that I found is $1,500 for that brand new turbo. I also have a BWR manifold, which is a T3 and has a 38mm flange from the factory, which we upgraded to the TurboSmart 45, I believe, and helped with the flow and everything. But the manifold is $800 brand new. The wastegate was $342 retail. The blow-off valve, $260. Intercooler piping, about $120, $130. The precision intercooler that I have is $395 list price online. Turbo oil lines and water lines is about $150 together. Then into the catch can and the catch can lines is about $200. So if you add all that up, it's about $3,700, $38 if you go for the fancy fittings and stuff like that. For electronics, I have Honda S300 version 3. It's the white board, the Bluetooth one. I think it's their newest one for the Honda S300, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, don't quote me on it, but $495 for the board itself, and then you have to pay a little bit more for installation, or if you're having other stuff inside of your ECU fixed as well. Then I have the Mac 3-port solenoid, which is the boost controller, and Honda controls that through a duty cycle of percentage, and then you can adjust your boost by gear according to what your tuner and you feel comfortable for the street or for the track or for whatever setup. Engine harness, I paid $400. Coil on plug. The setup is $340, I believe, from Robert Burton, which is Burton Racing, which a lot of you guys have seen my other video, is this coil on plug conversion. And that deletes the need for the coil inside of the stock distributor, as well as the ICM, if I'm not mistaken. And it just uses one of the positioning sensors inside of the distributor, which makes you have to retain the distributor. But you can do it off of a stock ECU that's OBD1 or anything with Honda. So that costs retail about $340. And then the coils that I specifically have are about $150 because they have lifetime warranty, and it's like kind of an upgraded K20 coil, which are the ones right there. I'm not gonna put into account the coil plate I think you can get those for like 30 bucks or 40 bucks or something. I'm pretty sure that is everything that I've written down. The body, the shell, when I bought it a couple years ago, I got it for 300 bucks, and then I gutted the whole thing, and I'll show you right now. There is little to nothing inside, and I actually sold some of the panels inside when I bought the car and made up my money. And I think actually, now that I'm walking around, I forgot a few things, so I'll go over that as well. I have a Walbro 450 fuel pump, and that's still a single fuel pump in tank. And I have a N-Line-6 running all the way to the front with a stock fuel return. And if you see that ghetto wiring I have right there is a little fuel pump relay that I made up. And basically what that does is uses the stock power for the fuel pump and uses that as a signal for a relay, which goes back to the battery, which I have to clean up one of these days. And it provides a constant about 13 or 14 volts, which is what the battery is getting from the alternator. More voltage, more flow, more consistency. I have the CNC 412 staging brake, which is about 140, I want to say, as well as the KS Tune mounting bracket, which I think was like another 60. And so far, I've only been launching off of the stock e-brake because I can't get the cutting brake, which is this right here. I can't get that to bleed how it should. And to be honest with you, I think I'm just going to switch over to the one with the reservoir, which doesn't get used in line. It actually just uses a standalone little reservoir right there and only controls the brakes in the back. My camera's falling. It's back on. The K-Tune shifter, I'll probably just put a little image or something right here, how much it cost. I don't remember the price. Skunk 2 weighted shift knob and innovative shift linkage. Then I've got the AEM fuel regulator, or the AFR's gauge, some ghetto boost gauge, and which uses mechanical vacuum, and then an oil pressure gauge from AEM. Type R cluster, Lexan from YNS Lexan. I have to put the rear on, I still haven't done it. Carbon hatch, carbon hood. I have my fab work done by Ricky Sellers and Sellers Racing Performance. He did my modification to the BWR manifold, as well as the up pipe for the turbo and the wastegate. Beautiful fabrication work, and he's actually putting my cage in later this month, I believe. So the car should be coming out pretty good. A lot of people ask about these holes right here. So a few years ago, when I got the car running originally, non-turbo and everything, I had an issue that it was running a little bit hot. So I kind of made that for more airflow. Did it work? I don't know. I fixed the issue. It was something else. That was, if it would have worked, it would have been a Band-Aid, if that. You don't really need that, because from the factory you have good enough flow, and with a good fan you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. But it kind of stayed as the look of the car, and just kind of grew with me over the years. I think that's everything, to be quite honest with you. I can't think of much else. Like I mentioned, I'm on R888 street tires. I think these go for like 180 each. I'm not sure. But if you have any questions whatsoever, leave them down in the comment section below. I just picked up this daily, and I'm going to actually be doing a build series on it soon. This is a CRV all-wheel drive, 5-speed, 1 owner, mint interior. It's got a little bit of body rust right there, but nothing crazy. But I gotta vacuum the floor. But the seats are in perfect condition. Dash is all intact, and absolutely a great daily. So we have a few plans for this. I'm not gonna reveal in this video, but I'll be uploading a CRV build part 1 shortly, maybe early next week or late this week. But like always, make sure to stay tuned. I'm so sorry that I haven't uploaded many videos recently. Between work and getting this car dialed in, it's been very hectic this last week or two. And hopefully I can start a more steady stream of content for you guys, because I know you really appreciate everything, and I get a lot of support from all of y'all, and I really appreciate that. Like I was saying, merchandise coming soon for clothing. I do have all in stock stickers like we normally have. The SB Tuning, where did I have it? Okay, this is the version 1 sticker. We have ones that are a little bit bigger than that, but I have SB Tuning stickers and Sende Papi stickers. Make sure to check out the website for that merchandise I was talking about earlier, the sbtuning.com, and we have some great stuff planned for you guys at the end of the month. I'm not going to reveal it right now, but I'm sure all of you guys will love it. Thank you so much for tuning in for another video, and have a good one.